right now, I honestly would be much rather playing the 2010 through 2021 version of Kansas football. I mean, we talked about how UTSA and Texas Tech were designed to really stress this U of H defense, and while I think Kansas is a bit more run-oriented than those first two teams, and I think that might play in the Cougar hands a bit more, that's a good offense. They really started to figure things out in the second half of last season. All jokes about the burnt orange school in Austin aside, I watched a good amount of that game from last year on YouTube, and it wasn't fluky. You could see they had a clear idea how to use Jaden Daniels, and they have a lot of skill guys who really understand what that offense wants to do. And I think they could absolutely be a 4 to 6 win team, which for Kansas football in the last decade or so is darn near miraculous. And if it does come to fruition like that, should have Lance Leipold in the coach of the year discussion. I want to see how this team plays in the friendly confines. I think it'll be a bit more clean at home, but a bit more clean doesn't guarantee an easy victory against this opponent who I'm sure they're going to play up to them. Hey, no one respects you guys. Even after that big win at West Virginia, Houston still thinks you guys are the Kansas of old. So I think there will be no lack of motivation from the visiting team. And I would be over the moon if U of H covers this game, just given what we've seen from the Jayhawks the first two and given kind of the negative stuff we've seen from the Cougars in the first two.
Yeah, you didn't say it, Sam, but 55 and 56 points the first two games by the Jayhawks. The first game, that was a nobody's school, but West Virginia, not so much a nobody's school, and they ran up some points on them. And I want to see U of H correct the mistakes, the penalties, just the basic stuff. I don't care if the offense isn't perfect at this point, guys. I just want to see mistakes that get corrected. After 2 weeks. This should not be a thing anymore. And I don't care if you're playing crummy schools after this in conference. This is about judging what the Cougars are going to be next year and going forward, not this year.
Yep.
Speaking about the Jayhawks, you look back heading to last year, their last 5 games this year and heading back to last year, their last 5 games are 3-2, wins over UT and West Virginia, and 1-score losses to TCU and West Virginia at the end of last year. So, the last team to beat them by that 10 points that Houston played was all their fourth to last game when they got beat pretty badly by Kansas State at the end of last year. So this is not a team that you can just expect to just roll over by 10 points if you're making mental mistakes. And like you said, Robert, if UH doesn't cut down significantly on those mental mistakes that we saw in week 1 and week 2, then probably the best case scenario is that we're going to another overtime game and hoping for the the bounce of the ball to go the right way in overtime.
You're listening to Houston Sports Talk.